Did anyone actually predict the coronavirus pandemic? I asked that question because I'm an astrologer. And if somebody did predict it, I want to find out because I want to know how they did it. So, I asked the people who are in my audience to let me know who out there is claiming to have predicted the coronavirus, or other people are claiming that they predicted it. And they identified for me 6 people: Abigail Anand, Joni Petrie, Ganesha, James Keller, Kumar Mishra, and Sylvia Browne. So I reviewed their predictions, and I want to share with you my review of their predictions and also tell you about my own. So Sylvia Browne wrote a book where people say she predicted a pneumonia-like virus spreading around the world in 2020 that couldn't be cured. So cool. Wow, she predicted the coronavirus. The problem with Sylvia Browne is she's a psychic, not an astrologer, so it's really not much use to me, even if she did predict it. I can't really learn how to be a psychic. The other thing about Sylvia Browne is she is a convicted criminal and a really lousy person. She was completely wrong on everything most of the time, and then all of a sudden has one thing that's right. So my conclusion on Sylvia Browne is not impressive. I don't care. Next, we have Kumar Mishra, who's a Twitter astrologer who tweets predictions. Aniruddha G makes hundreds of predictions all the time, and most of them are wrong. It's like if you throw 1,000,000 darts at a dartboard and 10 of them hit the bullseye, then people might think, wow, this guy got 10 bullseyes. And actually, most of these people will have this flaw. They make lots of predictions, and most of them are wrong. Sometimes they make one that's right. For example, with Kumar Mishra, he in 2018 predicted that there would be an epidemic in America in 2019. So it's even like you're predicting epidemics quite often. And then he also predicted that there's going to be an epidemic kind of sort of like around where the coronavirus one happened. But he predicted that it would be November 2019, which you could say, well, it started in 2019. But he predicted that it would outbreak in 2019 November. And he predicted that it would happen in America and Western countries. You could say, well, it moved to Western countries, but it affected the whole world, and he didn't catch that. Another problem that I had with him is he predicted that the thing would end in April. There would be no new infections in April. And that would be great if that was true. So my conclusion on Kumar Mishra is it's not too bad. I mean, he actually, congratulations, he made a fairly correct prediction. But it's not like it's going to change my world and make me want to study his type of astrology, because obviously he's making tons of predictions and most of them are wrong. And the one that he got right is not terribly right either. Next to the examination stand is James Keller. With respect, he identified that Saturn-Jupiter's conjunction in 2020 would likely be a big problem. So hats off to that. He said, quote, "I am not saying that we are going to have a plague or a Spanish flu, but we have similar conjunction in 2020 as happened in the Black Plague and the Spanish flu." So he actually didn't predict that there would be a pandemic in 2020, but at least he did note that this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn isn't a great thing, and historically it's been connected with bad things, and he was pretty close to the pulse. What he did wind up saying was, since the 2020 conjunction is in Uttarashada, it's more indicative of war than of pandemic. Now you might say, well, the coronavirus might lead to war, but yeah, it hasn't yet. And you're predicting February and stuff. February is when the health is. My conclusion is he does deserve respect for noting that this is a significant conjunction and it's this problematic conjunction. But with that said, basically every astrologer worth anything knew that. But let me respectfully acknowledge that amongst all the people that I know, Keller was the only one who recognized that this particular conjunction was also an important signature in previous gigantic pandemics. Next, we have somebody who goes simply by the name of Ganesh. Ganesh, to me, is in a similar boat as James. he is worthy of respect for noting that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn is a bad sign. He focused on this as being an economic crisis. That is actually quite accurate, but he missed that it's a health-triggered economic crisis. So my similar conclusion with Ganesha's predictions. Good job knowing that this conjunction was a bad thing. Good job knowing that it would affect the economy. I didn't get that. It's not exactly that you predicted the coronavirus, but what you did predict is great. Next to the examination stand is Joni Petrie. Now, I'd just like to say, I like Joni. I don't know if I could say she's a friend, but she's definitely an acquaintance. Joni's always been polite to me, even kind, whenever we met. So this isn't about anything like that. I just want to analyze the merit of the astrology because, like I said in the beginning, I'm an astrologer. And if somebody's doing great at astrology, I want to find out how they're doing that. So I have to say, kudos to Joni. What I liked about her was she definitely unequivocally said 2020 is going to be a big problem. And she even timed it to around February. Similarly with others, this is a person who makes predictions all the time and often or almost always makes dire predictions. So there's nothing that inspiring there for me. And actually, as for the predictions, what she actually predicted was a health crisis. Not in 2020, but in 2019, early 2019. What she predicted for 2020 wasn't a health crisis, but a war or some kind of huge political upheaval. Which, again, yes, maybe this is going to lead in that direction. I hope not. But as what it really is right now is a health issue, not a war. So all things considered, this is nothing really too amazing here. Finally called to the examination stand is Abigail Anand, the lovable young man. Abigail Anand, obviously I have to give pranams for the Vaishnav appearance, if nothing else. Not saying that it is the only thing, but even if it's just the only thing, then pranams for that, respects to that. Here, I'm not going to talk about anything else, just what he's claiming astrologically. So, again with Abigail, he regularly predicts dire events. So he's in the similar category with Aniruddha and Joni of like throwing lots of darts. And as for the accuracy of his prediction, people are pretty much jumping on it as being really accurate, but actually he didn't foresee a health crisis at all. In fact, he predicted practically everything except a health crisis, including nuclear war. So I don't know how compelling it is to me. I certainly don't feel like, wow, I really want to learn his system of astrology and how he figured this out, because I'm not so quite sure that he figured it out. You may say there are all kinds of problems, like he predicted air flight problems or some problem with China or something, or whatever he actually predicted. But for me to feel like it's accurate, you have to get the essential core of what the thing is. And the essential core of what this thing is a health epidemic. It's a health problem. It's affecting people's health. And then it has other ramifications, and it may have backstory to it or whatever, but it's a health crisis. So if somebody's claiming that they predicted the coronavirus pandemic, I want to see them actually say there's going to be a pandemic, like James Keller almost said. Another problem with Abigail is that he's wrong with the timing, because according to him, the window of danger ends April 2nd, or at least April. So, in my opinion, Abigail is similarly evaluated with Joni, which is throw a lot of darts, make a lot of predictions. One of them comes close to true, and then you get famous for it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to cut people down or say bad things about anybody. I love these people. I'm just saying I'm interested in seeing if there's any really good astrology going on out there. Okay, now how about me? Let's put myself on the examination stand. How about you, Vic Kerr? Did you predict the coronavirus? Definitely no. Definitely did not predict the coronavirus. To my defense, that's not what I do anyway. I do individual chart readings for individual people with their individual problems. I don't really do readings about the world for the world's problems. I didn't feel good about 2020, but I definitely didn't say, oh, this is going to be a health crisis. I remember thinking it's a Jupiter crisis. There's a Jupiter problem. And I remember just figuring like this is probably going to impact religious leaders or government leaders or something. After the news was out, developed a prediction for when it would end. So my initial thought was when we have the new moon in Ashwini, which is forthcoming, the next new moon is in Ashwini, then we should have a significant improvement. If you ask me today, I think it will probably be some significant medical success. The other thing that I noted was, well, it's a Jupiter problem. And if I look at the way Jupiter is going, it's going retrograde before it gets out of Capricorn. So I'm not predicting that the new moon in Ashwini is the end and everything goes back to normal, but that we have resurgences of it and it breaks out in new areas and everything for the rest of the year. What I want to say, just in closing, is that I wanted to evaluate the claims that certain people had predicted coronavirus for two reasons, really. The first and most personal reason is if somebody did predict coronavirus, I want to know because I want to find out how they did that because this is my job. And the second reason is I just feel so bad for people who believe things too quickly and too gullibly. So I just wanted to help logically parse the claims that coronavirus had been predicted. And what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that nobody predicted coronavirus. And what does that mean? That means, frankly, that astrologers are not all that great. So what does that mean? Nobody should get an astrology reading? No, it just means that astrologers are not all that great, but we're still the best astrologers that you got. So thank you very much. Stay calm, stay reasonable, stay rational, keep yourself entertained, and wait it out.